Throughout the semester, we've heard that mindfulness meditation can do many things. However, for everything we've heard mindfulness meditation can cure, there is a reoccurring theme that I believe we've overlooked: the concept of mental training. Now, we discussed mental training in the way that we need to become more mindful, but I want to focus particularly on the way mindfulness meditation actually affects a person's brain, and consequentially, how that changes a person's traits. We spoke a small bit about these things through the discussion of the neurobiology of compassion. In that study, we heard that two groups of people were told to focus on feeling loving kindness. One group included those who had practiced mindfulness meditation for an extended amount of time, anywhere between 10,000 and 50,000 hours. The other group included those who had only a week of mindfulness meditation practice. Both groups were told to focus on creating a feeling of loving kindness, while an EEG measured the electrical activity of the neurons in their brain. As we saw, the readings for those who had practiced meditation for an extended amount of time were drastically different from those who had only a week of practice, and these differences could even be seen by the naked eye. According to the study, this was of particular interest because no other group has ever been recorded to show the same results. In particular, the EEG showed that the insula, the amygdala, and the right temporal parietal junction were affected. These parts of the brain affect social emotions, empathy, and perspective taking. Not only this, but the study showed that those with limited practice time showed much of the same activity as those with extended practice, just to a smaller degree. Now this is important, but we'll talk about that in a moment. For now, let's discuss another article. In mindfulness meditation training and self-referential processing in social anxiety disorders, subjects were cued to engage in an experiential self-focus, characterized as non-goal-oriented, present-moment engagement with the contents of one's thoughts, feelings, and body state. It was found that mindfulness-based stress relief trained patients had decreased brain responses implicated in conceptual self-representation and emotional reactivity, and increased right lateralized brain responses linked to cognitive control, visceral responses, and attention. The parts of the brain shown to be affected here are much the same as the previous study: the amygdala, the insular cortex, and the parietal lobe. What this means is, those with mindfulness-based stress release training had better control over their thoughts, instincts, and they were more attentive. Now, all of this is very interesting, and here I've listed a few more articles that discuss this topic. However, none of these articles do us any good if we don't understand what it means. So what does it mean? It's actually very simple. Through these studies, we've seen that mindfulness affects certain parts of the brain. However, we've also seen that not only does it have an effect on the brain while practicing mindfulness, but it continues to have that effect even after meditation practice is over. This is what was shown in the first study with the subjects of less practice time. If those brains, with only a week of mindfulness meditation practice, can exhibit close to the same behavior, only to a lesser degree, than those who had been practicing for 10,000 hours or more, then that shows that the only thing standing in the way of someone becoming more compassionate or creating a new trait in themselves is mental training. Simply put, the EEG showed us that the more someone meditates, the higher their brain activity in certain areas. What this means is that the more someone focuses on a trait, such as compassion or attentiveness, the more that trait develops in the person. Someone who was once rude can become compassionate, or someone who was once absent-minded can become more alert. But why is this important? These studies show that through mindfulness meditation, we can no longer use the excuses, "this is just how I am," or "I was born this way." We can change that. In a world where everyone wants the freedom of choice, mindfulness meditation can give us what we truly need to choose who we want to be. Now, to have a little fun and to give a visual representation of how mindfulness meditation actually affects or changes people, I've set up a small simulation. Here, you will see Dr. Velez, or a sim of Dr. Velez. Right now, he's meditating, and he is a very well-rounded, disciplined sim. Dr. Velez is here to show us a few things that happen when you meditate in the sim world. Here is Dr. Winslow. He is working on being able to meditate. In the sim world, you have to reach a martial arts skill of 5 before you're allowed to meditate, which is not very realistic. However, this is the most important part we need to focus on. As you can see, Dr. Velez has been meditating for a few hours now. After meditating for a few hours, all Sims will receive this icon, the meditative focus icon. It states, "A clear mind and a centered chi will help you get things done better and faster." Now, this relates directly to real life. As we know, mindfulness meditation is meant to help us with alertness, or help us pay more attention to the things around us. That trait, that symbol right there, is the sim equivalent of alertness or attentiveness. Now, as I stated, Dr. Velez is a very well-rounded sim. He's a bookworm and disciplined, and there's nothing really wrong with him. Mindfulness meditation is only going to strengthen the traits he already has. However, Dr. Winslow, now he's a crazy party animal. He is overly emotional and extremely adventurous. Not to say that I actually believe Dr. Winslow is these things. Dr. Winslow is just going to show how mindfulness meditation can help someone. Right now, Dr. Winslow is breaking out some cool karate moves so that he can be able to meditate. We've just reached that spot. Also, it's important to mention that after meditating for a few hours, Sims begin to levitate. Now, you may laugh. However, it's not uncommon to hear stories of people who have done the same in real life. In fact, we've spoken about these people on multiple occasions. Now, here's Dr. Winslow. He's going to meditate for a while. He's received the meditative focus icon. Here in a moment, he will start levitating. There we go. And now we will see that through this mindfulness meditation, Dr. Winslow's traits will change. Lost his focus for a moment. Here we go. The party animal trait has now been changed to the discipline trait. Now, in Sims, each trait comes with its own set of stipulations. However, that's not to say anything. The overly emotional trait has been turned into the proper trait. This is not to say that every time you meditate, your traits will change, or that every time you meditate, you will become a better person, or even to say that you need to meditate or that you need to change it all. This is simply to show that through mindfulness meditation, we can change who we are, and it's a very important concept to remember. Thank you.